Scanning for audio.
Hello and welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. This time I'm not talking about Doctor Who. I'm actually talking about something that's quite close to my heart. Something from the past. Something from about 30 years ago. Cast your minds back, those of us who can, to a time when Doctor Who wasn't on anymore. We had Voyager on TV. Star Trek Voyager, which means that DS9 was still running or possibly just ending. And we had this new series, Babylon 5. Now, Babylon 5 was one of my go-to places. A lot of people were very snooty. They were all like, oh yes, it's not quite Star Trek, is it? It was never meant to be Star Trek. Babylon 5 was a series that spoke to my very core. I loved it. I know they had production issues. There was a whole thing about it being a 5-year arc, and then they had to rush the end at 4, and then there was a whole extra arc shoved on at the end, so bits didn't happen, and then there was Crusade that happened. It became not a bit of a mess. A bit of a mess is the wrong word. But the full vision of, let's face it, one person's vision just didn't quite get there in the end. But that's then. The series went on. It finished around the year 2000, I believe. See, the memory does cheat. There was always talk that there was going to be not a Blake 7 crossover, but that there was always going to be one scene where there was a TARDIS parked and the security teams were outside with their scanners. That's the kind of, not low budget, but Babylon 5 could definitely have taken place in the Doctor Who universe. Yes, I know you'll be putting comments at the bottom of the video, or sending me emails, or sending me tweets, or whatever, saying, no, that's not the case, it couldn't possibly be, but it could have. It could have. It had the same aesthetic, the same feel. Over the years, there's the thing called the Curse of Babylon 5, and the Curse of Babylon 5 is that a lot of the cast have died. It's not really a curse. In 30 years, people will die. Some of them are greatly missed. There used to be Babylon 5 conventions, which would be glorious events. The Star Fury conventions are named after the spaceship in this series. The Star Fury, what a fantastic spaceship. Design-wise, this series is great. And you know what? It did benefit from the effects. Let's face it, this was the first TV series where CGI spaceships were there. All right, watching it now, it looks dated, but you know what? So does everything. Into this universe and this fan love. And yes, I'm aware there's flaws. I'm aware that Sahadum and Khazad-dûm, and there's similarities with Lord of the Rings, but I'd not read Lord of the Rings. I'd not seen the films because they didn't exist and probably could never have existed. So similar storylines are fine. Kosh, Gandalf, we'll leave it there. What I am saying is that I adored Babylon 5. And as you know, my first degree is in animation. So I love animation. So when there's a new animated series comes out and it is Babylon 5, I am on board. So I get the new one, Far From Home. I'm aware that some of the people have been recast. Some people are older, some people aren't available. The original Commander, Delenn, G'Kar, some of the voices of the people who've been with us for a very, very long time just aren't available anymore. I'm fine with recasting because they have a performance that they rechannel, and when it's animation you can get someone who's very good at the voice and very good at recreating the soul of the performance. So you've got this Babylon 5 in your head, this memory cheats version of Babylon 5. You go, yeah, I love the spiders, is that what they were called? That kind of thing. Or, oh, Kosh was great. I didn't like him when he came back. Was it the same Kosh? I can't really remember. Is that Gandalf the White or Gandalf the Grey? All of these things are in your head, but it's moved on. You've moved on as fandom. You've had all of modern Doctor Who since. So what you need is a refresher course, and that's what this is. If there are more animated films, let's call them that, you're now brought back up to speed and you can go with it. There's mentions of certain characters already being dead, and you go, oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah, of course. It all works. So let's break this down. The animated film is incredibly well made. But the reason that it's incredibly well made isn't just the artistry of the animators or the newfangled computers or anything like that. It's because J. Michael Straczynski grew up, learned his trade on things like He-Man, the real Ghostbusters. You'll see his name appear if you watch any retro cartoon time and time again, because he knows about animation. He knows about storytelling in a visual form. He knows that the scripts need more writing in them in order to portray things. He knows his stuff when it comes to animation, so he was perfect to write this. He wrote so many of the originals. His name would just come up and up and up. So that's Babylon 5, the universe as it's set. Now, is it a great story? Well, it's good. It does the job of reminding us of what we've missed, what we've left behind. It's not brilliant because, and this is no fault of Babylon 5, we've had The Flash, we've had Spider-Man Multiverse, and we've had the other Marvel films, you know, the other Doctor Doom's trip round everywhere, as well as the What Ifs. Multiverse is a concept we get. The only thing I've got that against this whole thing is there's a scene where Sheridan, who's falling through his own time in a kind of a here's the best of Babylon 5 kind of a way, he doesn't get to meet Kosh. And I think he should. How will it end? In fire. Superb. Doesn't happen. He meets someone else who's more spiritual and serious than you remember them being, but that's beside the point. What I'm saying is this, watching this back, this almost 90 minutes of pure nostalgia really gets you right here, and you're happy because it's here. You're sad because they've had to recast. It's literally an emotional journey. If you don't know Babylon 5, just don't bother. It's not for you, and that's fine. But if you did like Babylon 5, this is for you, because you will be reminded of that thing you loved so much, and you'll fall in love all over again. Yes, there are things that I had an issue with in the TV series. The spiders, the monsters, the villains, the creatures from Sahadum. You never truly saw them, and of course that made them more scary. Their spaceships were fabulous, and they're so well realised here. In fact, all of the ships look gorgeous. But here they are one click and paste design of spidery things running towards you with sort of force shielded shields in front of them. And you're going, okay. You look a bit like something from really good Teen Titans. Not that Teen Titans Go, proper Teen Titans. We'll have that conversation another time. Because you can see them, and you can have whole armies of them, which you couldn't do on TV. Their threat is diminished slightly. It's like seeing a fleet of Daleks versus just one in the shadows. You know what I mean. Look, I've said a lot, but basically I'm saying I loved it. More please. No, really, more please. Because I'll be grateful. Maybe I should watch Crusade again. Perhaps I should buy the Blu-ray. And if that's all this was an advert to get people to buy the Blu-rays, it's probably worked. I'll leave you to it. Until next time, be seeing you. That was the Tin Dog Podcast. Everything discussed is the intellectual property of others. No infringement is intended. For early access to reviews, follow the show on YouTube or Twitter @TinDogPodcast. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.